What will your former employers, or teachers, references, Warden, say about you?
The employer wants to know about your adaptive skills. Are you easy to get along with? Are you a good worker? Your former employers and other references may tell of any problems you hate, or they may not. As you know, many employers check your references before they hire you, so if anything you say as a response to this question does not match what a former employer or other reference says, it could be bad news for you. Be certain to discuss your job search plans with former employers. Do the same with anyone else who may be contacted for a reference. Clearly tell them the type of job you now seek and why you are prepared to do well in it. If a previous employer may say something negative, discuss this issue openly with that employer and find out what he or she will say in advance. If you were fired or resigned under pressure, you can often negotiate what would be said to a prospective employer. Lots of successful people have had personality conflicts with previous employers. If these conflicts are presented openly and in the best light possible, many interviewers are likely to understand. It may also be wise to get a written letter of reference, particularly from a not too enthusiastic former employer. Such an employer is rarely brave enough to write you a totally negative letter. The letter may be enough to satisfy a potential employer. Larger organizations often don't allow employees to give references. If you are worried about a negative reference, this rule may be a great relief to you. Check it out by calling your former employers and finding out their policy. If possible, use references that will say nice things about you. If your ex-boss won't, find someone who will. Often, an interviewer appreciates an honest response. If you failed in a job, telling the truth is often the best policy. Tell it like it was, but do not be too critical of your old boss. If you do, it will make you sound like a person who blames others and does not accept responsibility. If you were partly at fault, admit it, but quickly take the opportunity to say what you learned from the experience. Sample answer. My 3 former employers will all say I work hard, am very reliable, and am loyal. The reason I left my previous job, however, is the result of what I can only call a personality conflict. I was deeply upset by this but decided that it was time I parted with my former employer. You can call and get a positive reference, but I thought it only fair to tell you. I still respect my ex-boss and am grateful for the experience I gained at that job. While there, I received several promotions, and as my authority increased, there were more conflicts. Our styles were just not the same. I had no idea the problem was so serious because I was so involved in my work. That was my error, and I have since learned to pay more attention to interpersonal matters. This response could be strengthened by the introduction of positive skills along with an example that includes some proof to support them.